here today to reinforce our earnest desire to foster a motivated workforce. Once again, we are here to reaffirm our promise to improve the welfare of the Nigerian workers and by extension the entire nation. The labor force stands as the cornerstone of the progress of every nation, and ours has been the enduring engine of our pursuit of development. I therefore welcome the nominees of the Tripartite National Minimum Wage Committee, comprising of the government, employers, and labor unions, who have been carefully selected for the crucial task of renegotiating a new minimum wage for workers in our beloved nation. Our sense of duty today thrives on both our sensitivity to the conditions of the Nigerian worker and the impending expiration of the last minimum wage instrument in a few months' time. It is a recognition of the need to ensure a fair and decent living wage, and in compliance with the Act that the federal government has set in motion, necessary mechanisms to assemble this tripartite committee to chart a future that aligns with our collective interests. While the decisions we have taken to save the economy are inevitable, we are not unaware of the short-term consequences. We believe that government is a continuum, and as such we have intervened in the systemic delays that undermine our economic growth. Since the removal of the petroleum subsidy, various committees have been established to examine and make recommendations to the government on measures to cushion the envisaged painful effects of the increase on workers and the Nigerian populace at large. I am pleased to share that action has since commenced on the implementation of the outcome of those agreements and initiatives. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this gathering stems from the deliberations of one of the technical committees, which included representatives from both government and the organized labor. We have identified the need for the review of the national minimum wage and to consider a minimum wage level that can alleviate the sufferings of the people. It gladdens my heart that the recommendation is being acted upon today, and we can all acknowledge that this is in line with our democratic process and adherence to the rule of law. I express my gratitude on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to all those who contributed to that endeavor. Given the comprehensive membership scope of the new National Minimum Wage Committee, it includes all stakeholders. Recognizing the significance of this initiative and to ensure a substantial engagement, the President hereby directs that ministers and heads of service of the Federation should personally attend the meetings. In their unavoidable absence, their permanent secretaries should represent them. Similarly, our executive governors are expected to attend in person or be represented by their deputy governors where necessary. I urge you to consider the issue of a national minimum wage and all related matters with thoroughness and concern, keeping in mind not only the welfare of our workforce, but also the impact on the country's economy. The issue of a national minimum wage for the Federation falls within the exclusive legislative list of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Therefore, our objective should be to support the basic social protection flow for all Nigerian workers, considering the sustainable payment capacity of each tier of government and other employers or businesses. I express this viewpoint because the minimum wage represents the least amount of compensation an employee should receive for their labor, and as such, it should be rooted in social justice and equity. I hope that the results of your deliberations will be consensual and acceptable to all parties involved. The government's decision, following the consideration of your final recommendations, will be presented as an executive bill to the National Assembly. The bill, enriched by the contributions of state governments and private sector employers, will undergo thorough legislative scrutiny before being passed into law. I am hopeful that the committee will employ the principles of full consultation with social partners and their direct participation, considering the core provisions of the International Labour Organization Minimum Wage Fixing Convention number 131 and Minimum Wage Fixing Machinery Convention number 26, both of which have been ratified by Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with this, the conditions of genuine social dialogue shall prevail in the spirit of tripartism and collective bargaining agreements. I therefore encourage you all to engage in collective bargaining in good faith, recognize each other, and maintain a spirit of give and take. Additionally, please continue your consultations outside the committee as you work towards recommending a new national minimum wage. The committee is anticipated to conclude its deliberations promptly and submit its report and recommendations to the government. This timely submission is crucial to initiate the necessary processes for implementing a new national minimum wage. The President has directed the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy to allocate essential funds and logistics to this esteemed committee, facilitating the timely completion of this assigned task. I hereby inaugurate the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage and extend my best wishes for fruitful deliberations. Thank you, and may God bless you.
It is with immense pleasure that I welcome you all to this historic occasion, the inauguration of the Tripartite Committee on the review of the national minimum wage. This committee carries the hopes and aspirations of millions of Nigerian workers, and its work will be instrumental in shaping the economic landscape of our nation. The past year, the life of our nation has been marked by significant economic challenges. The removal of fuel subsidy, while a necessary step towards long-term fiscal sustainability, has undoubtedly imposed temporary hardships on many. In recognition of these challenges, the government made a commitment to cushion the effects on workers through a wage award being implemented currently. Today, we take another crucial step in fulfilling that promise by embarking on a comprehensive review of the national minimum wage. The Minimum Wage Act of 2019 empowers this tripartite committee, composed of representatives of government, organized labor, and employers, to engage in an open and constructive dialogue to arrive at a fair and sustainable minimum wage. This process is not merely about numbers. It is about recognizing the dignity of work, ensuring that all Nigerians have the opportunity to earn a living wage that allows them to meet their basic needs and participate meaningfully and purposely in our society. In return, the workforce, whether public or private, must of necessity ramp up productivity in order to sustain whatever will be the outcome of future engagements. Your Excellency, the Vice President, your presence to preside over this inauguration and underscores the government's full commitment to this process. In due course, the leadership of Mr. President and your good self would be invaluable in guiding the committee and other stakeholders towards a successful outcome. Distinguished Chairman and members, I urge you to approach this task with spirits of commitment, collaboration, flexibility, and patriotism. Please eschew individual interest and focus on the common good for all of us. I therefore wish you a fruitful and patriotic deliberations. Thank you all.
Your Excellency, may I first start by saying thank you to Mr. President, through you, for finding us fit to undertake this assignment and for the confidence reposed in us. I want to assure Your Excellency that with the kind of personalities you assembled today to handle this assignment, I have no doubt in my mind that we are going to do justice to this exercise. All the expertise required to do this exercise, all the knowledge required to do this exercise, and I thank Your Excellency for the choice of the personalities that I see to undertake this exercise. We shall, by the grace of God, Your Excellency, make some extensive consultations with broad spectrum of stakeholders to be able to arrive at a new national minimum wage that is fair, practical, implementable, and sustainable for the good of our people and our country. Your Excellency, without taking too much of your time, I want to say thank you again for this honor and recognition given to us. I want to pray to Almighty God to guide the administration and continue to give peace to us in our country. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Your Excellency.
This is very, very unprecedented and is a very welcome development by the subnationals. We're here as government, to discuss issues that affect labor. Labor, both public sector and private sector, is very critical to the economy. And this shows the willingness of this government, to the welfare of the citizenry of Nigeria.
Oftentimes the challenges at the state level. So what challenges do you as state governors, you're representing 36 state governors, what challenges do you anticipate from this?
We don't want to preempt the outcome of this meeting, but you need to understand that the subnationals also have challenges, and that the federal government in its own wisdom have brought the subnationals into perspective, and this discussion will be done together with the subnationals. So I'm not sure we're going to foresee any challenge.
Okay, looking at economic realities and also provisions made by the federal government in the 2024 budget, do you think it's realistic? Because funding is a major problem. How do we raise these monies to also ensure that the state government are at par with the federal government? Because not all states have equal resources.
Yes, we are looking for alternative ways of funding. And we're sure that with the backward integration in the economy, a lot of us will be able to stand tall in this challenge.
Ordinarily, an assignment like this, an exercise like this, you may expect some challenges. But with the array of personalities that were assembled today, all the national expertise, all the knowledge required to do the exercise had been assembled today by Mr. President under the Tripartite Committee. So when I look at the membership of the committee, I don't think there will be any serious challenge that will retard any progress to be made in this exercise.
The Vice President did say that he wants your report timely. How soon do we expect to see your report ready for submission?
Definitely it's going to be very soon. But at the same time, like we promised the Vice President, that we are going to have a wide spectrum of consultations with recommendations to be made that at the end of it will be acceptable, fair, implementable, and sustainable. I don't want to give you a specific date, but like the Vice President directed, that it's going to be soon.
Okay, so no timeline, because the date for implementation is supposed to be April.
Yeah, that's what the Act says. It's supposed to be April. So we'll try to see if we can work toward that date. But it's not sacrosanct. Certainly, in order to rush and submit some haphazard recommendations that are not going to be implementable? Why don't you give the required time to be able to come clean whatever you recommend that is going to be implementable? And you've heard the response of the executive governors. I'm glad to also add that the representatives of the governors, as you see them, they are all welfare governors. All the 6 of them, if you clearly see their trends and their approach to development in their states, they are all welfare governors. And of course, you know, we have also a welfare president in President Bola Tinubu. So all this put together, we should be able to have a recommendation sooner than later that is acceptable to all.